And you just have to get really clear about the vision. If you want something, you have to be able to see yourself having it. And then bit by bit, the more you allow yourself to see that you can have this amazing life.
The Tribe podcast show is a production of Kangaroo Fern Media Lab, which is all about supporting you to start and build a thriving business. Tribe podcast on Ozpod Syndicate.
Raw Confidence was created by Heidi, Ricardo in 2020. During this midst of turmoil as an innovative educator, Heidi saw opportunity to have a global impact on personal development by taking passion online and teaching via Zoom. She aims to empower women to build greater confidence, expand their possibility in both personal and business pursuit and self awareness, higher intelligence to manifest happiness, success, prosperity, and freedom of choice in all areas of life. You can follow her on her website at rawconfidence.com and you can follow her as well on all social media. It's under Raw Confidence.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode. We really appreciate you joining us. This podcast really shows us how we can all learn, live, and thrive off of each other. By sharing our knowledge through our conversations, we will impart some knowledge whilst learning ourselves how to progress even further. Here is your host.
Hello, good day, everyone. It's another episode of the Tribe podcast under Ozpod Syndicate. So for today's guest, our guest for today is the owner and the founder of Raw Confidence, and her name is Heidi Ricardo. Good morning, good day. Welcome to the show, Heidi.
Thanks, Mike. It's lovely to be here with you today.
Thank you so much for your time. So before we go to the podcast, just to let you know, if you enjoy the episode, you listen or you watch some of the episode, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and also leave a review on Apple Podcasts as well. This show is for our startup or individual who is looking on getting into the entrepreneurial space or industry. All right, Heidi. The first question I'm gonna ask you today is love to hear your journey as an entrepreneur. What got you from here to now? So what got you from the starting point to getting here?
Okay. So first of all, Mike, my journey into entrepreneurship has not been that long. It only started in August 2020 when I found myself unemployed as a teacher. And I, at that point in August, felt this strong urge within me to take my life into my own hands and to create the freedom and also the impact that I've always wanted to have in empowering other people. So between August to now, end of January, I've been able to convert a teaching career, 20 years of teaching, into a company that now has a global reach via the internet, and I'm able to bring together 20 years of teaching in personal development, yoga, meditation, a whole range of different skills that I can then share with people and empower people at the same time as really being able to empower myself by having my own company. So it's really been an incredible 5 months, and it's been an incredible 20 years preparing for this. So short journey and also long journey, bringing them together to this moment now. It's been amazing.
So as a woman entrepreneur, what do you think is your challenge?
That's an interesting question, Mike, because really I don't think that the gender gap that it exists in other areas of society, I haven't encountered any gender gap in being an entrepreneur, because actually as an entrepreneur, you get to take your own power and take that out into what it is that you do. So whatever you're passionate about, you are playing on an equal field with all people. There's no gender gap, in my opinion. And that's why it's so empowering to be an entrepreneur, because you're not limited. The only limitation that exists in entrepreneurship is within your own thinking, within your own ability to allow yourself to have this big life that you really want. So if you're able to deal with the mindset and come to terms with that, I don't feel that there are any limitations, gender gaps that exist in other parts of society. That is why it is so empowering.
Because of the pandemic, so instead you've been out of the job because of the pandemic. What do you advise for people about starting up a business? They have their own job, leaving the 9 to 5 job.
For me, I do this with my clients as well, but I've definitely practiced it for myself as well. It's being able to see yourself moving from this world where everything in your life at the moment is probably quite safe and comfortable, but it's not really fulfilling you. It's not giving you that feeling that you want to jump out of bed in the morning and, go and seize the day and live this incredible life that you probably imagined for yourself when you were younger. So I think the first thing that you need to do is to become clear with yourself about what it is that you're doing in your life at the moment, why you might feel that you need to stay there in that safe place, and think about the options that you have in play here. If you were to stay in that safe zone, would you be happy in 1 year's time, 5 years' time, 10 years' time, maybe even on your deathbed, looking back? Will you look back and think, I had an amazing life and there's nothing that I regret? Or is it that you think back and think, there were those amazing things that I wanted to do, whether it be, have a bigger impact on people's lives, or travel the world, or buy that home, or whatever it is that you really, really want to do. It always takes you.
Your podcast journey starts here. Take the first step on your side. Hustle with us. It starts with a great domain. Get your podcast web host with Beard and Coffee at www.beardandcoffee.com.au or find us at Facebook.
Reflecting on where it is in your life and seeing where you've come from in the past, and then being able to project yourself into the future and open up your imagination to your biggest vision of your life. And when you're able to take that power into your own hands, then the choice is what you've got to do. And you just have to get really clear about the vision. If you want something, you have to be able to see yourself having it. And then bit by bit, the more you allow yourself to see that you can have this amazing life, you start to attract these things into your life and opportunities start to present themselves. So, you might not know all of the steps of how you're going to get to this big future, but just by taking that first step, and one thing that's really, really helpful is just to start writing these things down, like writing, what do I want? Why do I want it? All right. What's this desire that I have? But why do I want it? What's my purpose for having it? Because the path of entrepreneurship is not necessarily an easy path. You need to be really clear about what you want, why you want it, so that keeps you every day taking these small actions that are building into this bigger life for you. Like for me personally, coming from teaching and going into business, I didn't know how I was going to be able to do it. I didn't have any technology skills. I didn't have any marketing skills. And so just by me taking that first step and deciding that that's what I wanted to do, I wanted to create a coaching company. I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to have bigger impact on people's lives. I've been able to, step by step, see this path open before me because each day I only give myself a couple of tasks to do. They're the important tasks, and they might be things that really scare me, okay? But by taking those small actions every day, they lead to the next action and the next action. And before you know it, you're 3 months, 4, 5 months into a path, and you've created a business. You've created a product and service that people want, need, value. And so it really is just about getting clear on your vision and then starting to take action. It's amazing.
Okay, so you're also saying is you have to have passion and believe in yourself. Do you agree with that?
Totally. Totally. You have to be really passionate about what you want. This desire has to be burning. Can't be wishy-washy and, oh yeah, I'd like to have a company, or I'd like to have a house, or anything that we really want in life has to come from our soul. It has to really be a very strong motivator, have to be really passionate about it. So I think that that's a really key element. It has to be something that you really want, but then you also have to make a commitment to following through with this. I have had this idea to start business many, many times over the years. Every time I felt like I was, getting up and going to school and feeling dissatisfied with the school system, I would have these ideas running through my head. I would be thinking, oh, I want to be my own boss. I want to be the one who determines what I'm teaching to people, what I feel is important. What I felt like when I was a student at school was lacking in my education to make me a really well-rounded human being, an empowered person with money, with choices, with everything. So it's really important that you make that commitment to yourself, like you would if you were going to get married or something. You're making this strong resolve. I will do this and I will follow through until I've completed it, until I am successful. 100%.
Thank you for that. So, if you're already as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, so the next question I usually ask for some of my guests is that yes, you are passionate, you already believe in yourself, you already know your vision. How you overcome the imposter syndrome?
What's
So,
that? I know what you're referring to, imposter syndrome, but this is a false thing that if you enter into this, marketplace of comparison, then you may think, oh, I need to compare myself to others, and others know so much more than me, and little old me, I don't know anything. But the reality is that none of us are perfect, and appearances are always just appearances. Whatever we're looking at, if we're comparing, then we're going to say, oh, this is better or worse. But in reality, when we're fulfilling our deepest desires, our destiny, our purpose in life, there is no comparison. There is no imposter. This is your truth. And there's absolutely no need or reason to compare yourself with anyone else. So if anybody is suffering from imposter syndrome, I would say limit the amount that you look at the other people. We're told that these are your competition, but there's no real competition. This is not a game of win and lose against other people. We're playing our own game. And the game exists in our minds, in our hearts. If we can be accepting of the fact that we're not perfect, but that's absolutely fine. We do have something to offer. We have business is spiritual. So when you are in the game of being an entrepreneur, you're a spiritual being. You want to bring that that value out into the world in your products and your services. And it's also about being in flow with giving and receiving. Everything is this exchange of energy.
This podcast is brought to you by OSPAD Syndicate, powered by Kangaroo Fern Media Lab. Kangaroo Fern is Australia's independent video and podcast management agency with a mission to help individuals and entrepreneurs to start their own podcast and harness the power of podcasting. Book now via www.kangaroofern.com.
So, imposter syndrome, toss it out the window, get rid of it, forget about it.
So that's a nice explanation about the imposter syndrome and how to overcome that. So on your business, so you say you're just starting your business last year during the pandemic. Have you think that this business will be your go through, or because of the pandemic, because you're just thinking that I need to have a different, I need to be an entrepreneur, I need to be, so how it started?
Mike, this has actually been my passion. This has been my vision since 2002. So I started my teaching career in 2000. And within 2 years of teaching, I realized it wasn't going to work out for me working for the system, because I didn't feel like the system or the leadership was really there to empower people. So in my 2 years of teaching experience, and I was a top graduate at my university and got to go straight into a new high school when I started teaching, it was a great opportunity, I felt, to really have a huge impact on teenagers and the lives that they were going to live. I was teaching them personal development, and I became very passionate about teaching these children how to make decisions. And at the same time, I felt like the system didn't really allow for this individual to grow and expand. It actually gave me more of a sense that I had to teach people for exams. But then we all know that when you prepare for an exam, unless you really, really feel that learning, you forget it the day after you've gone through. So in 2002, after 2 years of teaching, I left the system and I decided that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. However, as life went about, I then went through a trauma in my personal life, and I lost my confidence as a result of it. And I spent the next 18 years developing myself on a personal level and really building my experience and expertise in all different ranges of being, in my spiritual journey, in my physical journey, emotional journey, my relationship with money, with my responsibility as a leader. And so I think that when it came, and in those years, I had some incredible experiences. I taught in Indigenous communities. I taught in Colombia, and I taught in juvenile prison, and I lived in India, and I learned meditation for a couple of years. And I was on this journey of self-discovery, really, because I wanted to know how to empower myself, but also so that then I could share what I know. So if we come to August 2020, and, the world is in this situation where everybody was feeling so disempowered, I actually wasn't feeling disempowered in 2020 because I haven't watched the media for a long time. So quite early on, maybe a couple of months into the pandemic, I stopped watching the media. I still knew what was happening because people around you tell you, but I became very focused on how I was going to create a solution. And so all of my energy last year really went into building my company, learning, studying about marketing and money and business and investing and all of these things that I didn't know anything about before, I suddenly became interested in.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss an episode by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now back to the show.
And I also I did a coaching course that taught me to bring together all of the things that I'd learned. So I'd had an interest in neuroscience, and I'd trained my brain 6 or 7 years ago with a neuroscientist, and I was able to gain these tools to help other people train their brain. But I was actually training my brain for the last 5 months, because I'm building this new mindset. I'm thinking now like an entrepreneur. I was taking these daily actions to learn and to practice and to implement, like starting a website and, getting a business name and doing all of the things. Each step of the way, I have learnt that step. I haven't sourced it out to somebody else and said, just create this for me. I have learnt it myself. And I think for me, that's been a really important part about building a strong foundation for my company, because as I grow and expand into the future, I feel like I'll know each step of the process, which for me is empowering. It means that I will be able to relate to each section of the company as well. So it's been an incredible experience for me on all levels.
So do you believe for individual people who want to start up a business just like you, being an entrepreneurs, need a
Mentor?
Yeah.
Definitely. Throughout my coaching course, I had a mastermind group that was led by the mentor, the teacher. And every 2 weeks, we would meet on Zoom and have sessions where we could ask questions. For anybody who's known me in my life, I am the person that always asks the questions. My mind just works this way that as soon as I am taught something, I then have 10 questions. And then when I receive an answer, I have another 10 questions. And it's like this. So having a mentor is really, really important for that guidance. It's also really important, I think, to have a coach as well, not only a mentor, someone who, can give you the answers, but somebody who coaches you, because a coach doesn't give you the answers. They just ask you the right questions. So they invoke that question or whatever it is that you're seeking within you to come out. So I've been coached throughout the last 5 months and will continue to do so, because the more I come to know, the more I go up to the next level, the more I realize there is this whole minefield of things that I didn't even know that I didn't know. So it is this constant evolution of learning. And so I would say to the entrepreneur out there, it's not that you have a skill set and you take that forward and then you're complete. It is a constant ongoing evolution of learning. And so you have to be a lifelong learner. Once you have a skill set, then you start to open and learn from your clients who really are then bringing to the table what they want, what services you need to be offering so that you can be flexible. It's not just this is who I am and this is what I do. It's a relationship that you build with your clients about what is their need and how can I serve that need. So it's an amazing learning experience.
Sounds interesting and fascinating, the way you explain to us. Hopefully our audience will, and our listener as well, can learn from your experience as well. So the company, how long is the company now that you build? How long is the business?
I moved fast. So I started the course in August, and it was a 10-month course. And by the 15th of September, I had my company name. Possibly by October, I had my website. And just in the last 2.5 months, I have now started functioning as a business. So I've had, what was really, really good for my business was in December, I offered free coaching for the month to 10 people so that then I could really refine my service, my product, and gain feedback, really build my own expertise and belief, because what I was offering, what I am offering to my clients is what has personally empowered me. I've broken through 18 years of procrastination, perfectionism, anxiety, self-doubt, these limiting beliefs. I've used my program on myself. And now by sharing that with others, I've been able to see that they are also getting the results as well. So just by, I think, planning that out, if you can give your company a really solid foundation by you knowing, believing completely that what you're offering is of value to people, that it is changing people's lives, you know this, you're selling something that it's not just about a financial exchange. This is actually transformational. This changes people's lives. So it's amazing.
So you're saying limiting self-belief. What technique do you use for your client?
I combine neuroscience with quantum physics using the law of attraction.
We are Independent Podcast Network. We are Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate. Would you like to hear your brand while supporting quality podcasts? Contact us now at advertise@guerrillapodcastsyndicate.com.
So I help people using the law of attraction, first of all, to become very clear about their goal, and then to set the goal, set the intention. And it only well, first of all, it takes about 30 days to change neural patterns in the brain. Okay, so I set an intention with my client for 30 days initially. Then using subliminal audios, which are neuroscience. Okay, what happens if you know anything about the mind? You've got the subconscious and the conscious mind, and only about 10% of our conscious mind, is the conscious mind. 90% is the subconscious. So when we make a decision to do something, let's say we decide to start a business and we can see the goal, all right, but if we're not taking this daily training of the subconscious mind, we might have this goal, but then this 90% is actually saying, I can't do it. You might be saying, I am going to complete this within 30 days. Within 30 days, I'm going to, let's say, have a website. Okay. But then if I'm not training my subconscious, I might start on this journey. 4 or 5 days into it, I might be all excited about this new idea and this new adventure and things are happening. But then maybe on day 6 or 7, I encounter a roadblock. I can't work out something to do with the technology, or I don't even know what questions to ask. When we train the subconscious, all right, we're training these places that we often get to where we feel there might have been an experience in the past where we were told or we learned that we couldn't do something. Maybe technology is too hard to understand. So when we get to that 7th day, if we haven't been training the subconscious, we will hear this voice inside saying, it's too hard. It's easier if I just give up and go back to my old job. At least then I don't have to worry about it. So we've all got these inner voices within us that live in the subconscious that can defeat us. And so what I've got these subliminal audio frequencies that I listen to morning and night for 30 days. And what happens is they dissolve these negative neural pathways of doubt, of self-limiting beliefs, and replace them with these positive frequencies that are embedded with positive messaging. So for me, in my first 30 days, I was listening to building self-confidence and self-esteem. And for me, that first 30 days, I listened to it every day, morning and night. But actually, I continued with it for 90 days because what I found was that after the first 30 days, I was still really, really excited. Like, this is such a great thing that I'm starting this company. However, once I got to that point where I had my own website, because that was the first step, that big mountain that I had to climb. Once I got to that point, I was then hit with this whole wave of self-doubt again. So I had to go to this new level. And I actually, rather than shying away and feeling like I wanted to give up, I became more determined to continue to train my subconscious mind. So I then upped the ante. I continued with listening to my subliminal for building self-esteem and confidence. And then I started listening to another one in the day as well, which was creating success and achieving goals. And so I was there training more, and I found that again, I was building this momentum moving forwards, and I was achieving a lot very, very quickly. Then again, came to December, because I'd come to a new level, and then a whole lot of self-doubt came in again. And so I just had to continue. So I'm actually now up to about 150 days of training my subconscious. And I have to say that when you combine the neuroscience with the law of attraction, like actually keeping your eye on the goal in the direction you're going, magic can happen. Just on a day-to-day basis, those two things combined with having an unshakable faith, just believing in yourself and being grateful for the small steps that you achieve each day, celebrating those steps, I feel like this incredible amount of momentum has been generated out of nowhere, really. It feels like it's come out of nowhere because I've never known this amount of action within me. So I just feel like the more I keep moving forwards, the more those doubts, those limiting beliefs are really falling away. And I'm opening up, but mastering things that I felt before were actually painful. I'm now starting to really love them. I'm starting to love marketing. I'm starting to love, the whole conversation about making money, investing. I didn't want to talk about this stuff 8 months ago. If someone mentioned the word money or investment, I would have walked away. But now I'm fascinated by it. So it is possible to change our thinking. We have to really commit to it, though. If you have even one day where you are training your brain and then you have a day off, you get lazy, you actually have eliminated this change that's happening. So you need to continue. You need to continue. If you know anything about neuroscience, the neural pathways in the brain, the connections of them are being fired, to draw these connections. If you miss a day, you're not allowing this connection to be created. So it needs to be a constant thing every day.
Yeah. Interesting. I wish I can do that. Okay.
You can actually, Mike. You can do anything you want.
All right. Do you have Okay. Yeah, I can try. All right.
Yes,
do you have
try is also copping out. You just do. Try is one of those things we say when we're not really ready to commit. It's like, yeah, I'll try and do it. We're not going to do it. Do what you feel like you really want to do. When your passion is there, you do it. When your passion isn't there, you don't really want to do it. And what I've discovered is, and this is probably a really important step in the beginning, is working out, what do you value in life? Because when you know what you value, then you become clear about what it is that you want and what is the most important thing. If you have a couple of different values, but you're not sure which is the most important, at some point in life, you will probably have to decide which one's the most important. And the thing is what we value also changes throughout our lives. So it's always good to look at what you value now, today, not what you valued 10 years ago, or, life changes. So being clear with yourself about what you value and what you want is always the first step.
Thank you for that. Do you have any final advice or anything else you want to share with individual startup or already in entrepreneur business?
Wow. Well, first of all, I'd say go for it.
This podcast is brought to you by OSPAD Syndicate, powered by Kangaroo Fern Media Lab. Kangaroo Fern is Australia's independent video and podcast management agency, with a mission to help individuals and entrepreneurs to start their own podcast.
Because if you're watching this and it's something that you're thinking about, then if you're attracted to it, it means that you want to do it. Whatever we're attracted to, we're on some level feeling like we want to be exposed to. So make the decision for yourself if it is what you want, and if it is, give it everything you've got. I wouldn't say leave any part of you left to doubt, because, well, if you have any doubt and you allow that to have an impact on you, you won't succeed. It takes everything for you to succeed in life. And so make the real commitment to yourself and surround yourself in a supportive environment. Support yourself totally by giving yourself the things that you need to thrive. So having really good sleep, making the adjustments to your everyday life so you can succeed. Sleep is of vital importance. Drinking water every day is of vital importance. Eating well, exercising, taking care of those basic things every day. Definitely getting organized with your time. So having good sleeping patterns actually prepares you to be able to keep a schedule the next day. I think it's really good when you're going to sleep at night to be able to think, okay, is there anything that I still need to process from today? Complete the day, so that when you go to sleep, you're already being able to see the things that you want to do tomorrow. And we don't want to feel like we've got so much to do that, we're just overwhelmed. Just I've learned in my own life, but also through the coaching course I did, that 3 things is enough to put on a list. Okay, if you've got 3 things on your list for each day, that is enough. You might only have 1 thing that is on your list, but we're setting ourselves up for success. So by having 1, 2, or 3 things at the most on our list, by ticking them off at each day, we can then start the new day fresh. We go to bed that night feeling like we've had success, not that we're carrying all of this undone, incomplete things. That creates stress for us. So having less actually gives us a feeling of having more. Keeping it simple, keeping, your environment around you clean so that you can think clearly. It's all of these very simple things actually really support us in being creative. So I would encourage people to, first of all, take care of or take note of the environment that you're surrounding yourself in, that it is supporting your growth and your creativity.
Thank you for that.
Fun. Have fun too.
Yeah, I agree for that. I agree that. Okay. So thank you for your time. If someone wanted to contact you and have a chat with you, how they can connect with you, Heidi?
Okay. So my website is the best place to contact me. If you go to rawconfidence.com, and that's roar like the lion when you're ready to roar, rawconfidence.com. And on there, you can find a free session that I offer. It's called a clarity session. It's 40 minutes, and I conduct this session on Zoom. And what I help people do is to become very clear about the goal, the vision that you want to create in your life, how to set that intention and commit to the intention that you have, and then how to take actionable steps on a daily basis that are going to help you to achieve this bigger vision for your life. You can choose to do my 30-day confident mindset intensive. And what that is you then get the subliminal audios and the one-to-one coaching with me, as well as the group support, the mastermind on the Facebook group. So you can find me at rawconfidence.com.
Thank you so much, that's Heidi. So to our listener and audience as well, I'll put all the links on the show notes, okay? So that you can check Heidi and have a connection with her. All right. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for listener. Thank you for this is another episode of Tribe Podcast on Oxford Syndicate, and of course, I would like to thanks my sponsor is Kangaroo Firm Media Lab. It's a podcast management service. So, in case if you want to launch your own podcast or you have your own podcast and want to manage it, just contact them at kangaroofirm.com. See you next week for another episode of Tribe Podcast. Thank you.
Thank you.
This podcast is brought to you by Oxford Syndicate, powered by Kangaroo Fern Media Lab. Kangaroo Fern is Australia's independent video and podcast management agency with a mission to help individuals and entrepreneurs to start their own podcast.